One problem that I'm having right now are these aluminum beams, and I'm basically just going to cover them with Reflectix. This Reflectix strip serves two purposes. It insulates that gap, and it also creates a barrier between the aluminum frame and wood furring strips, which will go on over top to which the siding can be attached. I've installed a reflective vapor barrier here. This material actually came with the van, so I'm just using what I've got. And as you can see, it covers quite a bit, and I've just taped over the seams here. And then this wooden stud here is just a bit of plywood that I've cut to length, and it covers directly where the aluminum stud is. So when I'm screwing into the wall, I'm screwing into this wood and then straight into the aluminum, and that'll give me a good purchase. And then this will also act as a furring strip, giving me spacing for air and for wires behind the tongue and groove. Another place that I've used Reflectix is along these aluminum ceiling beams. This is just to give a barrier between the cold aluminum and the furring strips. So you can see here that I'm putting the vapor barrier up and just sort of taping it loosely in place here. It's quite saggy, but that shouldn't really be a problem because the tongue and groove is going to go right onto these studs here. I'm not going to do the wooden furring on this. I'm just going to go straight onto it. So this will get held pretty much straight up by that. So as long as it can stag for now, and you won't see it when it's finished. I fashioned this collar out of sheet metal to help keep the insulation away from the chimney. So I've used a mixture of pink insulation and the yellow insulation that came with the van to do the ceiling. I've tried to put as much of the pink insulation over the bed area as I can because it has the best R value. After the insulation is the moisture barrier, and I've just got it taped up here around the hatch so that you can still open that and there's a complete vapor seal. And then I've popped the fan out again, and I've done the same thing where I'm just taping it into the inside here so that there's a vapor barrier so that even though you're bringing air in here, the moisture can't get into the insulation. I've put the first board of the ceiling up, and this is one of those Hemlock boards that I got for free in Vancouver. I've just made sure that it's on center with the escape hatch here, and hopefully that'll line up perfectly. So I've added 3 more boards, and it looks like I got that first middle board just right because that takes me right to the edge of the escape hatch. So it's perfect. So now I'm just going to keep going this way and see what that ends up looking like. I'm cutting a circle into this ceiling panel here so that this LED puck light can be recessed. Okay, so I drilled out a hole and then I used a jigsaw to make it bigger. And let's see if this works. Oh yeah, perfect. Okay, so I've just installed the board up here on the ceiling and rewired the light so that the wire goes through the hole from the outside. Now I just need to push this into place and it will be complete. And this is what we're left with. This is an update for how the ceilings come along. I've got those 2 lights in, and then to either side of the exit hatch going back a little ways. The dimensions of the Hemlock boards has worked out really well for the exit hatch, but I am having to notch around the Fantastic fan. There's a garnish that goes over the top there and kind of hides the edge, so it shouldn't be too noticeable. I have all 4 puck lights installed, and I'm going to do a test to see if the 3-way switch is working now that it's all finally wired up. So let me bring this up here. So all 4 lights are in the frame. It's kind of hard to do, but let's give it a shot. Let's flick the switch one way. All 4 lights come on. Flick it the other. Only the first 2 are on. Perfect. Middle, and they're all off. That's what I want to see. So this is where I've gotten to today. I actually ran out of screws, which is why I've stopped. That's pretty much the whole kitchen area there completed. And I was able to get all the way around the Fantastic fan and all the way around the escape hatch. The only other thing I need to go around is the chimney. I've trimmed the garnish for the Fantastic fan and screwed it in place over top of the ceiling boards. So on each of the boards, I'm cutting a 45-degree bevel on the ends so that they overlap each other when they're placed in. This means that when there's shrinking and expanding in the wood, you're never going to see through the gaps on the ends to the moisture barrier. So you can see here that bevel, and then say here, I bring in the matching board like that. So yesterday I completed the ceiling, and I was really happy to have enough boards to fully complete it. I wasn't quite sure that I'd make it, but in the end I just had the perfect amount. I've actually brought it all the way to the end here. Now you'll probably never see that bit there, unless you were standing in the garage area with the door closed. But basically, where this tape line is here, on the floor, there's going to be a wall that goes up. And it's going to end right at the end of sort of where this green insulation is. So there will be a gap that you'll be able to sort of see through into the area behind. So I wanted to put the paneling as far back as I could, just so that that gap there is kind of consistent. Plus, putting those boards in there kind of hold up boards like this that don't go all the way back, so that they don't sort of droop down. And when the door is opened, it doesn't interfere. This is what it looks like with the back door open. And you're going to have to imagine that there's a wall in the way here, because it's not built yet. So basically, the door boards here are going to act like a second ceiling when that's open, and sort of come up this way, which is why these lights here don't continue over into that section of the ceiling. That section's blank because nothing's going to be seen up here. If I put lights there and turn them on, they wouldn't do anything. So they'd have to be on their own circuit, and I just don't see a point to that. So instead, the fairy lights are going to string across here.